flagged up that he had ADHD. He was diagnosed with the ADHD. There were 3 doctors in the room and they put him onto some medication. And he's basically been on that ever since. He always had a special educational plan, individual education plan, but it didn't really seem to do very much. But he's always been centre of attention, very demanding. If Claudia, a 7-year gap, had friends over, he'd feel that he should be able to be included in everything, and he'd just plonk himself there, and so it's been a bit of a strain, really. We've always thought, can we take him there? Can we go there? Thought twice maybe about doing things. He's hated doing homework. I mean, when I used to mention homework, he would literally jump over the sofas. He would, I don't know if you've heard this before, but he would literally jump over the sofas. Like when they say climbing the walls, virtually. And he'd do one sentence and then say he needed a reward or something. It was just, very, very difficult. If I went away or anything, I couldn't rely that he'd behave with my husband. And it used to be a real nightmare. He wouldn't recognise, the social sides of when he should calm down a bit or whatever. So. Always interrupting as well, because he feels that he's got to get his point across right there and then. And his teachers would say that he might go off topic. In science they'd be talking about something, and he'd come on and something scientific but totally different to what they were talking about, and wouldn't be able to know. You've got to keep quiet and things. So on sports days, always had to be first in the queue. Even if they go round and do different apparatus and they take it in turn, always would run to be front of the queue. And this was one of the symptoms apparently, and also we noticed even things like passport control, couldn't stand still in a queue and couldn't understand, you've got to wait your turn. It crouches on everyday life all the time, really. Had because you're on edge and you're thinking, how's he going to behave? He's a good actor, and we're going to give him the Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz, fine. But he had lived, you see. He'd just push it because he could read the audience. And he just had, everybody thought he was absolutely wonderful. But then his teacher did say, I was hoping he was going to, rein it in and not do and I'm sitting there in the audience thinking, oh no. And he's the one that was in the drama shows when he was very young, that would be trying to be the comic, trying to get everybody's attention. So the whole audience is laughing, but you as a parent are thinking, oh no, please, no, just behave, Jason, His appetite, unbelievable. His appetite, it's like he's making up for lost time. She's never seen him eat so well. We haven't. Before, at the weekend, I'd say to him, what do you want for lunch? And he'd just say, I'm not hungry. He never used to get hungry until about 10:30, 11 at night. And then when we were trying to get him to bed, he'd want a cooked meal, he'd want things to take upstairs, and we just thought this is a delaying tactic. But that's when he used to get hungry. But now, no, he's eating, he's sleeping. He actually fell asleep in the car coming here on one session. Never done that. Never fell asleep for 2 hours. He took himself upstairs by himself at my mum's house in the first week because he said he was tired and fell asleep. It just doesn't happen. He's never been a child that napped, nothing like that. So he's off the medication, and I really want to keep him off it. Won't go upstairs by himself. He'll sort of say, well, will you come up? When are you coming up? And we have this every night, and sometimes it's 11 o'clock at night. And we start from about 10 o'clock trying to get him upstairs, and at 11 o'clock we're probably still trying to get him to go upstairs. So in the end my husband will say, oh, okay, I'll go up. Because he looks at a crack in the wall and thinks that the house is going to fall down, or he'll hear a noise and he thinks somebody's breaking in. It's always a huge, huge problem. So no, that would be a huge thing, because people don't get their sleep, leads to all sorts of problems, including him. Since he's been here, he's now had 2 nights now where he's gone up himself. Last 2 nights, he's gone up himself and he's got himself to bed. He wakes up in the night because he's such a light sleeper. He wakes up with the smallest of noises, and then he'll try and come in and sort of ask us to go in while he settles, or come in our room. So he's gone through the night as well, which is brilliant. Because we're expecting it to happen every night. It more or less does happen every night. When it's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and he's at the bend arguing with you, then you just haven't got the energy to cope with it. Dreadful, awful, and capital letters and full stops. Practically every sentence I have to remind him. And I don't know how many times we've done said, how to spell said. And one sentence it'll be okay, the next won't be. You know, it was never logical to me. I mean, no, spelling always been very difficult. Very difficult. Tables, unfortunately, we went to an educational psychologist when he was 11 who actually said in front of Jason that don't try and get him to learn tables because he never can. And they basically said the same for the time, telling the time. They basically said sequential memory was so bad that he wouldn't be able to learn tables. She said in the second day she could notice that he was calmer, and he wasn't as argumentative when we asked him to go to bed. And the fact he took himself upstairs and went to sleep because he was tired. It's never happened. Never happened. So yeah, she says she noticed in the second day. It was getting to the stage now where if he was going somewhere like a school trip, I was sort of embarrassed to try and say he needs to have this medication. If he gets hyper in the evening, you might need to give him half a Ritalin, which I haven't done for years because we did have a top-up. But and I just thought, how long is this going to go on? Am I going to be saying this when he's 18? Because he won't know himself if he needs it or not. But I just thought, how long is this going to go on? So yeah, no, to think that it could be more normal, it's just got to be good for everyone, really, it has.